Anger swells over Tinubu's failure to contain insecurity, hardship, insecurity. With continuous weight of kidnappings, killings, and other terror-related crimes across the country, analysts have taken President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the cleaners over what they termed his lackadaisical attitude and below-average response to the growing insecurity and economic hardship in Nigeria. There had been an increasing rate of killings, abductions, and kidnapping of Nigerians, including clerics, businessmen, traditional rulers, and students in different parts of the country. A situation which has been creating fear and tension among citizens. Ambassador Kalu Ofong Emmanuel, cleric and public affairs commentator, one of those who spoke to Sunday Independent, stated that President Tinubu's response to growing insecurity and economic hardship in Nigeria is absolutely not satisfactory and pleasant. Dr. Emmanuel, the Lagos State Chapter President of the International Human Rights Protection Service, Florida, USA, said it was unimaginable that the only thing President Tinubu could order the Inspector General of Police to do is to arrest criminals. He stressed, "To me, that does not sound reasonable and sensible. It seems Mr. President lacks knowledge that the duty of the Nigerian police is to arrest criminals and prosecute them. Moreover, such an order lacks merit, for it is their core primary responsibility. It is like telling the police to start arresting criminals. You do not know your responsibilities and you have not been executing your duties properly." Emmanuel continued, "The increasing rate of insecurity and economic predicament in Nigeria is beyond expectations of people who voted Tinubu into power. People are killed every hour and kidnapped consequent upon negligence and insurance in order to have an adequate security system in the country. Suffice it to say that Mr. President has forgotten he is the Chief Security CSO and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that his order must be carried out, or the person he gives the order who fails to execute it will be fired. I want to believe that Mr. President is hearing about the incessant killings and high level of insecurity in all the states, and nothing substantial has been done about it. When someone who is related to him is killed or kidnapped, that is when possibly he could wake up to consciousness, strategize on how to annihilate the ugly insecurity in the country. Just go to the immigration offices and the country's embassies. You would definitely be flabbergasted at the speed people are relocating to other countries for security and greener pastures." Emmanuel wondered why the incumbent government focused more on security, stressing that there cannot be any economic growth in an unsecured environment. He added, "No investors and tourists can dare visit such places, and that is a fundamental reason we are experiencing stagnated economic growth. Look at the exchange rate of the dollar against the naira and other currencies to the naira, and you would understand that Nigeria is suffocating to death and needs resuscitation." Emmanuel stressed, "Currently, in the area of economic predicament, people hardly feed to satisfaction, and the greater percentage of Nigerians cannot afford one square meal. Prices of foodstuff have skyrocketed to the extent that most people's salary cannot sustain them for 1 week. Just within the week, a family with 11 children had to sell 2 of their children in order to feed and train the 9 children. Amazingly, they will sell more of them when the money finishes. This is the highest level of hardship, suffering which has grossly become unbearable. This has undoubtedly resulted in immeasurable suffering, starvation, robbery, kidnapping, which has turned out to become a lucrative business. Selling of human parts and numerous heinous atrocities are being perpetrated on a daily basis. The very rich and the poor are crying. Hunger is on the rise. It is only God that can provide succor to salvage this highly deteriorated situation Nigeria is confronted with. Thousands and millions of students are out of school and have consequently no money. Our women have become prostitutes just to feed their families. Men committed all forms of atrocious things to sustain their families. Most people cannot afford to pay house rent. No job, no access to good medical treatment and good hospital facilities for immediate assistance and intervention. Many cannot afford nor have access to hospitals overseas. What a country! People are defenseless, afraid to travel long distances because of fear of being kidnapped. Farmers and market people cannot travel to some places for fear of being raped, kidnapped, and killed. It is high time Mr. President stood up to face insecurity and hardship, economic backwardness facing the challenging the country as a whole. Dr. Rex Kennedy, South Love, a political activist and public affairs analyst, stated that if Nigerians has ever had a leader or a president who seemed aloof and far from the citizen vis-a-vis its security and economic challenges issue, we seem to go from bad to worse and from the previous administration to date. Medals of Daring Criminals. Dr. Love, the President's Executive Director and Citizens' Rights and Empowerment Advocacy Initiative, CREMA initiative, stated, while Buhari leads competence, incompetence can be forgiven for his economic and security failures. He was associated with a common cliché of constantly being in a state of I am not aware and thus unable to manage his nation. That cannot be said of President Tinubu. It is very disheartening and disappointing that the acclaimed Jagaban, who is associated with the building of modern Lagos in terms of security and the economy, the fifth largest in Africa, is far worse than the Buhari met and not attuned or in complete grasp of the situation before him now. More disappointing is the fact when a man tells you he can do it and it's not only create problem but also abandons you. Every decision and policies made by him and his team seem to plunge the nation into more economic and security despair and uncertainty, and he does not know how to navigate the ship out of a storm he created. It is really disappointing that the president who should be preferring solutions is the one saying target of $1 trillion economy in danger if insecurity persists. Even Mr. Unaware is aware of that. He is elected primarily to ensure the security of the nation and well-being of its citizens through sound economic policies. The security situation is so bad that the rate of kidnapping ongoing at the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) itself, or the seat of government, and the almighty federal nationally security outfit headquarters are constantly under threat, is real putting salt on the injury and literally poking fingers into our eyes, indicting and mocking the federal government. So Love stressed the president's body language is the hallmark of his attitude to the economy and security, while the nation's economy plunges into more uncertainties with continued devaluation of the naira and the heightened insecurity. He's on a private visit abroad. Alright, on this note, we have come to the end of the news. So thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.